Good evening, children. Welcome to YEP Master, the school foundation program for class 10th in order to crack the IIT JEE as well as the NEET examinations, right? So, in the previous class we have started discussing about the alkene chapter, right? So, there we have focused on the isomerism concept. We are discussing about the isomerism. We have discussed about the positional isomerism as well as the chain isomerism in the previous class. We have started discussing about the geometrical isomerism. So, today let us start from the geometrical isomerism and then we proceed further in the discussion with respect to the stability of alkenes. Okay. So, coming to the isomerism, the third type of isomerism that we can expect in the case of alkenes is geometrical isomerism. So, here in the case of geometrical isomerism, so these are the compounds which are having the same molecular formula and structural formula, but they differ in the orientation of the groups or the atoms at the double bond, and that compound or those compounds are said to be geometrical isomers, and the phenomenon is known as geometrical isomerism. So, it is mainly because of the presence of a carbon-carbon double bond within the molecule. Because of the presence of carbon-carbon double bond within the molecule, a restricted rotation is observed. Because of the restricted rotation of the double bond, we are going to have different orientations of the groups, and because of the different orientation of the groups, we are going to get different properties. So, because of that, these two compounds are said to be isomers of one another. Okay. So, here geometrical isomers we can represent them as cis isomer and trans isomer. What is a cis isomer is? Here, if two identical atoms or groups lie on the same side of the double bond, when the two similar atoms, identical atoms or identical groups across the double bond, if they are going to present at one side of the double bond, they are taken as, that isomer is taken as cis isomer. So, here if you observe, for example, as I told you, we are going to have a carbon-carbon double bond, and moreover, whenever we want the compound to exhibit geometrical isomerism, we have to look one point. What is that point? Across this particular carbon-carbon double bond, the doubly bonded carbon atom, if we observe, the doubly bonded carbon atom must and should contain two different groups. It should contain two different groups, and here also this doubly bonded carbon atom also should contain two different groups. Okay. So, the different groups should present across the doubly bonded carbon atom. In case of a alkene, when we have a alkene, that double bonded carbon, if it is connected to two different groups on either side, okay, on either side, this double bond carbon also should have two different groups, and this should also have the two different groups, then only we can expect the geometrical isomerism. We are going to see this one in detail once we finish the basic definitions in this case. Okay. Now, across the carbon-carbon double bond, similar groups are on the similar side, similar groups are similar atoms, same atoms or same groups, if they are going to present on the same side of the double bond. So, I have taken this as a double bond, okay, this, let us consider this as a double bond. So, two groups are present this side of the double bond. So, they are present on the same side of the double bond. So, when the groups, similar atoms or similar groups, identical atoms or identical groups, when they are present on the same side of the double bond, on the same side of the double bond, we take it as cis isomer. So, whenever we write, for example, if I am writing it as this way, okay, carbon and carbon, and we have two groups. Here the carbon is doubly bonded carbon is attached to A and B. This side also the doubly bonded carbon is attached to A and B. Okay. So, when we are writing, so I am writing this way. Okay. Now I am connecting the atoms A and B to these two carbons. Okay. So, if you observe, let me write A here and B here, and the other side also we have A and B. So, I am writing A and B here, right. And if you observe here, if you observe A's, the group or atoms that are present on the double bond carbon atom A, they are present on the same side of the double bond. Since they are present on the same side of the double bond, this compound is taken as, or this isomer is termed as cis isomer. Cis means here the similar atoms, identical atoms or identical groups present on the same side of the double bond. Okay, that is taken as cis isomer. So you may get a question, sir, we are going to represent the molecule only in this way? No, you can also represent the molecule this way also. You can also represent here this way. Okay. So here if you observe, the two X groups or X atoms are present on the same side of the double bond. So it is taken as a cis isomer. So we consider this as a cis isomer. So if the two identical atoms or groups on the lie on the same, or if they are going to project it on the same side of the double bond, that isomer is taken as a cis isomer. Okay. Now let us look at the one more isomer, that is trans isomer. Okay. If in this case the two identical atoms are the groups, if they are going to lie on the opposite side of the double bond, if they are present on the opposite sides of the double bond, we term it as, or we take it as trans isomer. We take it as trans isomer. Okay. As I written in this case, you can also write this way. So we have a carbon-carbon double bond, and the doubly bonded carbon atom on either side has A and B groups. Okay. Now let me represent the molecule this way and also represent the molecule this way. Okay. Now here if I am going to write this way, so if we observe this molecule, we have a carbon-carbon double bond, this doubly bonded carbon attached to two atoms or two groups, and the other side also doubly bonded carbon is attached to two groups or two atoms, let us say. Okay. Now we can represent the molecule in this fashion, carbon-carbon double bond, and A and B are present. If we observe the identical groups, where the identical groups are located now, the identical group A and identical group A here, both are lying in the opposite side of the double bond. If you take this as a double bond, one A group is present the other side, okay, this A is present this side. So both these atoms, identical atoms or identical groups, they are lying, they are present on the opposite side of the double bond. When they are present on the opposite side of the double bond, this isomer is taken as trans. Cis means same side, trans means opposite side. Simply you can remember that cis isomer means similar atoms or similar groups are on the same side. Trans means similar atoms or similar groups are on the opposite side of the double bond. So here the two similar atoms A and A are present on the opposite side of the double bond. So therefore this isomer is termed as trans isomer. So this is the not only the representation, we can also represent this fashion. Here if we observe, A is present here and A is present here. So both are on the opposite side of the double bond. So this isomer is said to be trans isomer. So what is trans isomer? If the two identical groups or atoms, if they are going to lie on the opposite side of the double bond, then that isomer is said to be trans isomer. That isomer is said to be trans isomer. You can clearly see here X and X are on opposite side. Okay. Y and Y are on the opposite side of the double bond. Okay. So this way we can expect the formation of different isomers. One in the case we are going to have the same, of course if you compare that cis and trans isomer, cis isomer and trans isomer, when you compare, they will have the same molecular formula, same structural formula. What is the difference? The difference is only the orientation of the groups across the double bond. If the similar groups are on the same side, we take it as cis. If they are on the opposite side, it is taken as trans. Simple. Why we can expect the geometrical isomerism? Geometrical isomerism is expected because of the restricted rotation that is seen with respect to the double bond. Okay, restricted rotation results in the formation of the geometrical isomers. If the same groups are present on the same side of the double bond, it is taken as cis. If the same groups are present on the opposite side, it is taken as a trans isomer. Okay, right. One more concept we have to observe here is that for example, I have a molecule like this. Okay. So here in this molecule, on one carbon atom we have two different groups A and B. Other carbon atom, doubly bonded carbon atom, we have only one group, that is A and A. In this case, can we expect the geometrical isomerism? Can we expect geometrical isomerism for this molecule? No. Why? Because at this particular location, if we observe this particular location, at this particular doubly bonded carbon atom, same groups are present. What is the condition for geometrical compound to exhibit the geometrical isomerism? The doubly bonded carbon atom must and should be connected to two different atoms or two different groups. Then only we can expect the geometrical isomerism, cis and trans isomerism. But here this carbon has same groups A and A or same atoms A and A. In that case, this molecule does not give any kind of geometrical isomerism. So for example, we have a molecule like this. If we have the attachment of, let us say, one E here, A and B here. So if we observe this molecule and on the first doubly bonded carbon atom at this particular location, we have one atom as E and other atom also E. So both the atoms are same on the doubly bonded carbon atom. So in this case also it is not possible to observe the geometrical isomerism. For suppose we have a molecule like this. Okay, we have a molecule like this. In this case we have groups like this. So here if you observe, we have different, if you observe here the carbon, doubly bonded carbon atom has two different groups. Here also a doubly bonded carbon has two different groups. So we can expect the geometrical isomerism in this case. So for a compound to exhibit geometrical isomerism, at the doubly bonded carbon atom should contain two different groups. The doubly bonded carbon atom, both the double bonded carbon atoms should contain different groups. Then only we can expect the geometrical isomerism. Then only we can expect the cis and trans isomerism. Okay? Yeah, this is the condition that we require. By knowing the condition, now let us move on to the examples of the compound which are exhibiting geometrical isomerism. Again, first two members of the alkene series, that is in the case of ethene or propene, we cannot expect the geometrical isomerism, okay, because the doubly bonded carbon atom in case of ethene as well as in the case of propene will have the same hydrogen atoms. So there we cannot expect the geometrical isomerism. From alkene having 4 carbon atoms, we can expect the geometrical isomerism. For suppose we have two molecules, as we have seen in the case of the positional isomerism, the double bond position may be different in the carbon chain, and thereby if we are going to take two positional isomers of 4 carbon alkene, so we are going to have one butene, other one is 2 butene. So among these two compounds, which will exhibit geometrical isomerism? I say that one of the compound is does not going to exhibit the geometrical isomerism, whereas other compound will exhibit the geometrical isomerism. So this compound, that is 1 butene, it will not exhibit geometrical isomerism. Why it is so? If we observe the doubly bonded carbon atom, first you have to see the carbon which is having double bond. Observe here, this carbon which is doubly bond carbon having one hydrogen atom, other side we have CH3, CH2. So two different groups are present on this carbon atom, there is no doubt. But coming to this carbon atom, if you observe this carbon atom, it has two hydrogen atoms. So two atoms attached to this doubly bonded carbon atom are identical. In that case we cannot expect the geometrical isomerism. So 1 butene does not give us any geometrical isomerism. Let us look at the 2 butene. Again 2 butene, first you have to locate the doubly bonded carbon atoms. Locate the doubly bonded carbon atoms. At this particular doubly bonded carbon atom, what is the group present? One group is CH3, other group is hydrogen. So both are different groups. Okay. Come to this carbon, doubly bonded carbon. Here we have a hydrogen and a CH3. So both are different. So we can expect this doubly bonded carbon atom having two different groups. This doubly bonded carbon atom also has two different groups. So we can expect the geometrical isomerism in this case. So geometrical isomerism is possible for 2-butene. How we can write it? Let me write the molecule here. So this will exhibit the geometrical isomerism. 1-butene won't expect the geometrical isomerism. So I am writing the carbons which are connected with the double bond, then I am writing the groups attached to this one. Okay. So here in the first case we have one hydrogen atom and one CH3 group. On the second doubly bonded carbon atom also we have one hydrogen and one CH3. Okay. So I am writing the molecule in that fashion. Now I will write one more orientation of the same molecule in a different fashion, such that we are going to get one more compound or one more isomer. So I am not disturbing the position of the groups on the first carbon. The other side I am bringing the CH3 up and hydrogen down. Now if you observe this molecule, similar atoms, hydrogen and hydrogen are on the same side of the double bond. Hydrogen and hydrogen are on the same side of the double bond. So automatically this isomer is said to be cis isomer. This is a cis isomer because the two identical groups or two identical atoms are lying present on the same side of the double bond. They are present on the same side of the double bond. So we can say that this isomer is a cis isomer, right. Coming to the next one, if we observe, we have hydrogen here and on the other carbon the hydrogen is on the other side of the double bond. So the two hydrogens, the two identical atoms are present on the opposite side of the double bond. So therefore we can call this isomer as trans isomer. So in case of 2-butene, we can expect the geometrical isomerism. So doubly bonded carbon atoms are having two different groups, hydrogen and CH3. Here also we have hydrogen and CH3. Similar atoms are on the same side of the double bond, cis isomer. If the similar groups or the similar atoms are on the opposite side of the double bond, it is taken as a trans isomer. Okay. So 2-butene exists in two geometrical isomeric forms. One is cis form, other is trans form. In case of cis form, the 2-butene will have two hydrogens on the same side. In the case of trans 2-butene, the two hydrogens are on the opposite side of the double bond. So we have to include the cis and trans terminology while naming the compounds according to IUPAC system. Okay, we will see that one also. Okay, let us see one more example with respect to the geometrical isomerism. For example, if we are going to take a 5-carbon chain, in that case we can write CH3, CH2, CH2, CH, double bond, CH2, 1 pentene. Okay, or I can write, I can change the position of the double bond, thereby we can introduce the double bond between the second carbon and third carbon atoms. Okay, so we have two isomers now here. So can we expect the first positional isomer to exhibit the geometrical isomerism? No. The doubly bonded carbon atoms, if we observe, this doubly bonded carbon atom has the same two hydrogens. When we have two hydrogens same, so this compound won't exhibit any geometrical isomerism. Look at the other one. Here these are the doubly bonded carbon atoms. One carbon has a hydrogen and a methane, other carbon has a hydrogen and ethane. So we can clearly say in this case we can expect the geometrical isomerism. So what are the geometrical isomers that we can see in the case of this molecule? So let me first write the carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, let me connect the groups that are present on the carbon-carbon. Okay, double bonded carbon atoms. Now, so here we have a doubly bonded carbon atom with the hydrogen and CH3, CH2. So I am keeping hydrogen here, CH2, CH3. Okay. right? And this doubly bonded carbon atom has one hydrogen and one CH3. So we are keeping hydrogen here, CH3 here, right? Now similarly we can take the same way hydrogen on the first carbon atom and CH2, CH3 as it is on the first carbon atom. Now let me change the CH3 up and hydrogen down on the second carbon, okay, right. Now if you observe here, the hydrogen atom present on one and the hydrogen atom present on the other doubly bonded carbon atoms, identical atoms are lying on the same side of the double bond. They are lying on the same side of the double bond, so we can expect this to be a cis isomer, okay. Since the identical atoms, identical groups are on the same side of the double bond, so it is a cis isomer. So if you observe the second one, here we have hydrogen and hydrogen are on the opposite side of the double bond. So since identical groups or identical atoms are on the opposite side of the double bond, this molecule is said to be a trans isomer. So this is cis 2 pentene and this is trans 2 pentene. So in the case of pentene, one pentene won't give us any geometrical isomer, but 2 pentene will give us some geometrical isomers. So geometrical isomers that are coming from 2 pentene, if you observe, one we have a cis and other as a trans. In the case of cis, the two hydrogen atoms are lying on the same side of the double bond, whereas in the case of trans, the two hydrogen atoms or the similar atoms, identical atoms are lying on the opposite side of the double bond, okay. So this is how we can easily identify the cis and trans isomerism. Now let us look at 3-hexene, CH3, CH2, CH, double bond, CH, CH2, CH3. So we have 6 carbons and the double bond is present between third and fourth carbon atom. So this is 3-hexene or hex3ene, okay. So we can write this molecule in 2 orientations. Let me write here one carbon-carbon double bond I am taking, okay, and if you observe the 2 carbon atoms are doubly bonded, the 2 groups present here, one H and C2H5, that is CH2 CH3, this side also we have hydrogen and CH3 CH2. So different groups are present, different atoms are present on the doubly bonded carbon atoms. So now let us connect these atoms or the groups that are present on the double bonded carbon atom, and thereby we can identify the molecule as a cis and trans, okay. Let me take hydrogen as it is what we are going to take in the first case. Hydrogens are on the same side of the double bond, okay. CH2, CH3s are on the same side of the double bond. This way the one orientation possible. I am keeping the hydrogens as it is on the first carbon atom, doubly bonded carbon atom, and I am changing the other side, okay. So we are going to have this way orientation of the 2 hydrogen atoms. And if you observe here, the 2 hydrogen atoms are on the same side of the double bond, so this is a cis isomer, and here the hydrogen atoms are on the opposite side of the double bond, so it is taken as a trans isomer. It is taken as a trans isomer. So cis and trans isomerism clearly seen in the case of alkenes, and the condition for cis and trans isomerism to exhibit is the doubly bonded carbon atom must and should connected to 2 different groups. If same groups are, same atoms are present on the doubly bonded carbon atom, in that case we cannot expect any geometrical isomerism. Please students also try to write the positional isomers of hexene. I have written the 3-hexene as an example. Write the other 2 positional isomers of hexene and identify whether the 2 given positional isomers are going to exhibit the geometrical isomerism. If one is not exhibiting, then what is the reason? And if other one is exhibiting the geometrical isomerism, try to write the cis isomer as well as the trans isomer, okay. So you just practice it so that you can have an idea and you can easily handle the geometrical isomerism in that case, okay, right. Let us proceed on to the stability of alkenes. while we are dealing the hyperconjugation, we have discussed about the electronic effects, right? Inductive effect, mesomeric effect, hyperconjugative effect, electromeric effect, inductomeric effect, etc. We have seen all those effects, right? So there we have discussed while we are dealing the hyperconjugation. In the case of hyperconjugation, the stability of alkenes can be explained. One of the application of hyperconjugation is explanation of the stability of alkenes. Alkenes stability can be explained by using hyperconjugation. So we are going to take the same concept here, but of course in a through experimental fashion we are going to explain the stability of alkenes based on the heat of hydrogenation. Okay. So it is a stability of alkenes we are going to explain with the basis of the heat that is generated in the hydrogenation process, heat of hydrogenation, right. How we can compare the heat of hydrogenation to the stability of alkenes? How we can compare? The lesser is the heat of hydrogenation, the more is the stable compound. So here you can clearly see that stability of alkene, if you compare, we are comparing it with the heat of hydrogenation. Okay. So if the heat of hydrogenation is less, if the heat of hydrogen is lesser, in that case stability will be more. So we can clearly observe that the stability and heat of hydrogenation are inversely proportional to one another, both are inversely proportional to one another. If heat of hydrogenation value is going down, automatically stability value will increase, the stability will increase. Okay. If the heat of hydrogenation value is increasing, or if the heat of hydrogenation value is more, in that case the stability will be less, stability will decrease. So both are inversely proportional. If one factor is decreasing, the stability factor is increasing, or the heat of hydrogenation is increasing, stability will decrease. So both are inversely proportional. If one is increasing, automatically other will decrease. If this is decreasing, this will go up, so other one will increase. Okay. So lesser the heat of hydrogenation, more is the stability of the compound. Stability of alkenes depends upon the number of hyperconjugated structure. This is what we have discussed while we are dealing the hyperconjugation. So we can explain the stability of alkene by taking the number of hyperconjugative structures into consideration. More the number of hyperconjugative structures, more will be the stability that is associated with the molecule, more will be the stability of the alkene. So stability of alkenes can be explained by taking hyperconjugative structures. More the hyperconjugative structures, more will be the stability of alkenes. Okay. Yeah, number of hyperconjugative structures. How we are going to determine the number of hyperconjugative structures? Number of hyperconjugative structures can be determined with the number of alpha carbon hydrogen bond, that is alpha CH bonds. More the number of alpha CH bonds, more will be the hyperconjugative structures. More the hyperconjugative structures, more will be the stability. So when you look at the stability and the hyperconjugative structures, stability and hyperconjugative structures are directly related to one another. Okay. So hyperconjugated structures and stability both are directly related to one another. Okay. If the number of hyperconjugative structures increases, the stability of alkene also increases. If the number of hyperconjugative structures decreases, stability of alkene also decreased. There we have taken examples and we have discussed the stability of alkenes, right? And we will see those examples again here also in order to explain the stability. And moreover, heat of hydrogenation and stability both are inversely proportional to one another. So this is one factor that we have to take, and this is one more factor that we have to take in order to explain the stability of alkenes. Let us see how we can explain the stability. Let us take the first example, alkene, ethene. First member of the alkene series is ethene. So in case of ethene, can we have any hyperconjugative structures? No. So therefore if we observe the heat of hydrogenation per mole in terms of kilocalories, it is coming out to be 31 kilocalorie of amount liberated while the hydrogenation process is going on. So, if we observe the molecule C double bond, hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen and hydrogen. So, the which carbon is taken as alpha carbon? The carbon which is connected to the doubly bonded carbon is taken as alpha carbon. But here in the case of doubly bonded carbon, we have only 2 hydrogens, no alpha carbon is present in the molecule. Since no alpha carbon in this molecule, no alpha CH bonds are present. So, therefore, the hyperconjugative structures are 0, heat of hydrogenation value is very high, very high heat of hydrogenation value is observed. In the case of next member of the alkene series, propene. So, in case of propene, if we observe, we can have CH3 here, okay. So, CH3, CH double bond CH2, CH3, CH double bond CH2. So, here if we observe, this doubly bonded carbon atom has only 2 hydrogens and no carbon is present. So, no alpha hydrogen is present at this center. But if we observe here, so here this is carbon atom, the carbon which is connected to the doubly bonded carbon is termed as alpha carbon. So, this carbon is said to be alpha carbon. So, on this carbon we have hydrogens. How many hydrogens we have? 3 hydrogens. So, therefore, we can have 3 alpha CH bonds. How many CH bonds are there? 3 CH bonds are there, and moreover this carbon is alpha carbon. So, we write it as 3 alpha CH bonds. So, we have 3 alpha CH bonds. So, this carbon is alpha carbon. So, we have 3 alpha CH bonds. So, alpha CH bonds we have 3. So, therefore, each alpha CH bond will give us one hyperconjugative structure. We have 3 alpha CH bonds. So, we get 3 hyperconjugative structures. Since we have 3 hyperconjugative structures, the heat of hydrogenation if we observe when compared with the ethene and propene if we observe, 0 hyperconjugative structures, 3 hyperconjugative structures. Heat of hydrogenation is coming down here. This is 31 and this is 28.5 only. So, automatically heat of hydrogenation is decreased, stability increased. Number of hyperconjugative structures increased, stability increased. Stability and hyperconjugative structures are directly related. Stability and heat of hydrogenation are inversely related. It is decreasing. So, stability of this particular molecule propene is more than that of the ethene, okay. And here the number of hyperconjugative structures are increasing, stability is increasing. So, this compound is more stable than this one, okay. So, we can explain the stability of the alkene based on the alpha CH bonds, that is hyperconjugative structures, or by experimental values of heat of hydrogenation. Yeah, let us take a 4 carbon chain. In the case of 4 carbon chain, if you observe CH3, CH double bond CH, CH3. So, this may be a cis compound and this is a trans compound, both are taken here, okay, cis compound and trans compound. So, we can write this one, I will write the cis molecule and trans molecule this way: carbon carbon double bond, this side I have a hydrogen and this side we have a CH3, okay, this side we have a hydrogen and this side we have a CH3. So, here the 2 alpha carbon, this is also a alpha carbon and this is also a alpha carbon. So, both are alpha carbon atoms. This carbon is connected to 3 hydrogens. So, we have 3 alpha CH bonds here, okay, and this side if we observe we have CH3 and here the carbon is alpha carbon. So, we have 3 alpha hydrogens, CH bonds are present, 3 alpha CH bonds are present over there, and here also we have 3 alpha CH bonds. In total 3 plus 3 we have 6 alpha CH bonds. When we have 6 alpha CH bonds, we can expect 6 hyperconjugative structures. When we are having 6 hyperconjugative structures, stability will be more, heat of hydrogenation should decrease, it should be 27, it is observed as 27. Of course, these are the experimental values, okay. 6 hyperconjugative structures are possible for the cis compound. What about the trans compound? In the case of trans compound also, we have alpha CH here, alpha carbon here also. So, here we are going to have 3 alpha CH bonds. Here also we are going to have 3 alpha CH bonds. Okay. So here we have 3 alpha CH and here we have 3 alpha CH, total coming out to be 6 alpha CH bonds, and correspondingly we are going to have 6 hyperconjugative structures. 1 alpha CH bond will give us 1 hyperconjugative structure. We have 6 alpha CH bonds, so we are going to have 6 hyperconjugative structures. And if you observe the heat of hydrogenation, it is coming out to be still lower, 25.7 only when compared with the cis isomer. Cis isomer value is 27, whereas trans isomer value is 25.7. Okay. So therefore here both are having same number of hyperconjugative structures. Both the molecules are having same number of hyperconjugative structure, but the trans isomer is more stable compared with the cis isomer. In case of geometrical isomers, generally we say that trans isomer is going to be more stable when compared with the cis isomer. Why it is so? In the case of cis isomer, the two CH3 groups are coming on the same side, and thereby we can expect little steric crowding. Some crowd is going to be created at this particular area, and thereby the stability will decrease. But in the case of trans, if we observe, one CH3, other CH3, both are away from one another. When they are away from one another, in that case steric crowding is less, so stability will be more. Here the steric crowding will come into picture, and thereby the stability of cis compound will be lower when compared with the trans isomer. I think you got a clear idea now how we are explaining the stability of the compounds. So stability of the alkenes explained by the heat of hydrogenation, or we can also explain the stability of alkenes by taking the hyperconjugative structures into consideration. Okay. And if you observe in total, what is the heat of hydrogenation values now? First value in the case of alkene, it is coming out to be 31.0. In the other case propene, we have 28.5. Now it is 27 here. Now it is 25 here. Okay. So when you observe the heat of hydrogenation for compound 1 is more than the compound 2, compound 2 value is more than the compound 3, and which is more than the compound 4 value. So since the heat of hydrogenation for compound 1 is more, so that is least stable, because the stability and the heat of hydrogenation values are inversely related. So if the heat of hydrogenation value is more, stability will be lower. So if you observe the stability order, 1 is the least stable. Which is more stable? Which has the least heat of hydrogenation value. So the trans compound, fourth compound, is having least value. So trans compound is more stable than cis compound, which is more stable than propene, which is more stable than ethene, the first compound what we have discussed. Okay. I think you got a clear idea that stability and the heat of hydrogenation values we can explain based on the hyperconjugative structures. Okay. Right. Let me take here CH2 double bond CH2. It is less stable when we look at the stability order. Okay, I am writing the stability order. Okay. Ethene is less stable than propene, CH3 CH double bond CH2. Okay, which is less stable than CH3 CH double bond CH CH3, that is 2-butene. Again in the 2-butene we can have cis isomer and trans isomer. Let me write even that one also. Let it be cis isomer. Okay, cis isomer is less stable than the corresponding trans isomer, CH3 CH double bond CH CH3. Okay, so this is trans isomer, this is cis isomer, other is trans isomer. Now this is less stable than CH3 taken 2 times C double bond CH CH3. That is to say that 2-methyl 2-butene is more stable than the 2-butene. And again 2,3 dimethyl 2-butene is still more stable than 2-methyl 2-butene. So 2-methyl 2-butene and 2,3 dimethyl 2-butene, when you compare the stability, 2,3 dimethyl 2-butene is more stable than 2-methyl 2-butene. Okay. So the stability is going to be explained based on the number of hyperconjugative structures as well as heat of hydrogenation. I think students, we have enjoyed today's class. I will come up with some more interesting topic in the next class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.